Hi, I'd like to share a little concept with you called WADAR. WADAR comes from the word 외국인, which means foreigner, and radar. It's the way to distinguish between foreigners, specifically between normal people and really weird people. Because if there's one thing I've noticed by living in Korea for a few years, it's that for some reason it attracts a lot of weird foreigners. I don't really know if there are so many weird foreigners, but the ones who are weird really stand out. As a foreigner, I can easily pick out those people. I can say, oh, that's a weird guy. In my home country, everyone would know that they're weird. Now, I can't take credit for WADAR. I have to give it where it's due. It's a great concept, and I believe it was originated by Adam Booth, a writer for 10 magazine. But the purpose of the article was to say that Koreans lack WADAR, that Koreans don't really seem to know when they're speaking to a foreigner who's really kind of creepy. I mean, the good and bad thing about working in Korea as a foreigner is that Korea is really accepting of foreigners to come here and work as long as they've got some kind of credibility. It doesn't judge their personality, at least not at first. Because there are many cultural differences, many Koreans think, oh, that's just what they act like in their culture. That's just some kind of difference we need to learn and accept or just ignore. And I don't think they can always tell which of those behaviors are acceptable in the foreigner's home country and which aren't. Now, I also think one reason Koreans aren't that discerning is that Koreans also kind of go out of their way to be accepting of foreigners. I feel like it's a kind of national thing. Like they think, oh, if I'm treating this foreigner badly, I'm kind of shaming my own country. Korea really wants to attract foreigners as workers, as tourists, and Koreans generally know about this, so they try to put on a good attitude around foreigners. Yeah, I do think there are a whole lot of cultural differences, and in that regard, I guess Koreans need to be a little bit understanding, but they also need to draw a line, or at least know where the line should be drawn. The writer of the article also goes on to say, like, when he meets these weird foreigners, he wants to warn the Korean friends of these guys, like, oh, stay away from this person, they're dangerous, they're bizarre, they're creepy. But you can't really do that. You can't do that in a social situation. You can't single them out, especially if they haven't demonstrated any really harmful behavior at that time. But if you keep an eye on them and wait long enough, like, that behavior will present itself, but probably everyone else will see it too. Now, I'm not sure if this is just a thing that happens in Korea, because I've only lived in Korea, I've only been a foreigner in Korea. I'm sure it happens in other countries. I don't know, if you've had experience like living for a year or two in Japan or in China, and you've seen other weird foreigners like this, I don't know, tell me about that. Or tell me, why do you think some weird foreigners come to Korea? Like, what do they expect to find here? Do you believe they really think they can escape the stigma they face in their own culture and continue the same behavior here? Have you had a weird experience with a weird foreigner? WADAR is a great term, we should really use it more.